Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We are gearing up for our first NA versus EU Clash of Worlds 2021 as LEC champions Mad Lions and Team Liquid are about to face off. Now let's start with the EU first seed, who are coming off a phenomenal year with back-to-back titles and an MSI semi-final. LeBlanc, the new Kings of Europe.
That's what I'm saying. When I look at Mad Lions, I feel like you really see a team that is once again like a contender for the title coming out from Europe. They took games off of everyone at MSI, took DK all the way to 5 games. I feel like they've also grown a lot during this split, putting more emphasis towards top side, and just a dominant playoff run in general.
And they got a whole heck of a lot of personality on that roster as well. I'm looking at you, Armut, because I know you'll be looking right back at me through the camera lens. That is, of course, they're going up against the second seed from North America and Team Liquid. I caught it. Thank you so much, Armut.
He plays spot the camera so well.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful. Well, Emily, let's talk about the North American squad because they returned to the international stage as the second seed this time around. But I think the question on a lot of people's minds is how much have they improved from the LCS finals?
Yeah, so I think the big thing that I already touched on a bit actually when I talked about 100 Thieves is how they were able to attack the bot side, because the kind of original support that was leaving lane pretty much permanently was CoreJJ. He even set a record for the lowest support duo procs, and 100 Thieves actually really capitalized on that well because some of those timers were incredibly forced. So from Team Liquid, I'm looking at 2 things. I'm looking at the mid-jungle synergy between Santorin and Jensen, and then I'm also looking to see what those roam timers are going to be for Core and how they end up playing that bot lane, especially with the picks we've seen today.
Yeah. Plenty of questions to be answered when it comes to this Team Liquid squad. Chronicler, I'm turning to you, though, now. You have the privilege, along with LeBlanc, to be just sitting on the outside of this battle between NA and EU. Yep. Completely unbiased, as we all just punch each other in the face. We are biased.
Are you suggesting that I'm biased?
If you aren't, then we have to have a different conversation as the 2 NA reps here up on the desk. But Chronicler, when we talk about this matchup, I think there are 2 lanes in particular that I'm looking at. Let's start in the top lane. It's Alphari, one of the biggest offseason acquisitions for the LCS, coming over from EU, and he's up against Armut. Give me your thoughts.
I think that Alphari, when it comes to like role laning, is probably the best player that we're going to see out of the LCS. But to me, Armut isn't necessarily a player that is easy to like permanently actually keep down in lane and reduce his impact. I've been really impressed with Armut for his out of lane performance. And this is something we see with a lot of laners in the LCK as well, where they're hard to put down, but even if you do put them down, you invest a lot of resources into a player with both amazing hair and great teamfight angles throughout basically the entirety of the game.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think the thing with Armut is that Mad Lions set him up really, really well, right? Like they make sure he's set up for success, even if it means saving that counter pick for him. And then additionally, I think one thing that I do want to mention that's improved since MSI is their cross-map trading and their awareness through side lanes is significantly better, and Armut is a huge part of that.
From one solo lane to the other, LeBlanc, we've got Humanoid up against Jensen. Jensen has been a mainstay at this point of the LCS and trips to the international stage. But I want your take on the LEC mid laner and Humanoid here.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's the best player coming from the LEC this tournament. The way he plays lane matchups is phenomenal. The way he balances staying ahead in CS, but also having a massive impact on the map with Elyoya and Kaiser is just something you need to watch.
I mean, that's a huge vote of confidence when you come from the region that sports caps in the mid lane. And so for Humanoid to have that accolade coming in, we'll see if he can live up to it. Now, though, it's time for predictions. And the fans over at MasterCard Nexus on Twitter have majorly sided, if I do say so myself, with Mad Lions, 85% to 15%. I don't know if I'm willing to accept that so much, but Chronicler, I want to get your prediction as well. Is it as dire for North American fans as it seems to be?
I don't think the game will be a one-sided stomp, but I would be shocked if Mad Lions don't win. Yeah, I think overall they're an incredibly strong team with a lot of depth in how they can approach. And I'm fearing that we see a similar thing for the Team Liquid squad that we saw for 100 Thieves, where I think they still kind of need to really get into their groove, leave too many opportunities open, and I think, Mad, if you do go in on relatively even or slightly behind footing, it's going to be a really tough ask.
That's one for Mad Lions. What about right here?
Mad Lions.
What about right here?
What?
Mad Lions.
Okay, 3 Mad Lions. Boom. Just like that. We'll see if your predictions come through in game number 7 as Dracos, Cadril, and Ezreal take us through Mad Lions versus Team Liquid. Enjoy.
Thank you again and again. Poor Ezreal. We keep coming out of analyst desk segments where everyone's like, NA's doomed, NA's doomed, NA's doomed. As casters, we're going to do our best to prevent.
But 15% of Twitter was telling me there's a chance.
That's a chance. 15% is a better odds than DFM had in that game, so we got to hope that it continues to turn in their favor. But we'll find out. You never know with the Mad Lions. It's a big question mark. Humanoid, obviously, fantastic player, but has gone through ups and downs. We saw an incredible playoff run for Mad Lions, but their regular season, even though the second half was 7-2, it was a sketchy second half. There were a lot of shaky mid-late games. They relied on some pretty crazy team fights to come back. Have to see if we get playoffs Mad Lions or if we get some of the regular season Mad Lions.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion, why Mad Lions' regular season was so inconsistent was bot lane phase. Carzzy and Kaiser just kind of let loose a bit too many times. And when they were consistent, yes, they kind of dropped their lane a little bit and played more towards the top side and more towards mid-jungle. But that was one of the inconsistencies they had. Luckily for them against Team Liquid, I also think they're a top-centric team.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I mean, they love to play through Alphari. This is a team that had a pretty tumultuous year, right? You know, with Santorin having to be subbed out for health reasons, with Armut coming in for him, as well as Jenkins coming in for Alphari, and they were two very different teams. I mean, when they were playing with Jenkins, they were playing a bot-focused style, and when they were playing with Alphari, they were playing very much through top. I think if you are a TL fan and you want to kind of grab onto maybe a way that they could get into this game, I do think, yes, we saw stronger laning phases from Mad in the playoffs, but if you're comparing regular season laning phases of the top laners, like, it's not close. Alphari was so dominant, so that is a way in perhaps. But of course, it's very concerning when you think of how good Humanoid is, how good he is at getting out of lane, moving around the map, affecting side lanes, how effective Mad is really as a squad at team fighting. Like, they can plug any holes, and we've seen that happen in the LDC all the time.
Yeah, and I think Mad Lions are one of the teams that stay with, how do I put it? Their gold is almost the same with the enemy team's gold a lot of the time during the game, but then it just turns into like one team fight or one pick where they find themselves getting a lead. It's not like a progressive snowball effect. Mad Lions just come out of the gates with some kind of team fight or some kind of side lane play, and that's what gets them ahead in these games. So keep your eye out for that. See if TL can respond, because I think a lot of the tweets, especially from some of the TL players, especially Alphari, is like, come top lane and see my CoreJJ, my lane duo, up against you.
I mean, CoreJJ had that one game in playoffs with 0% duo procs, and that was something in LCS that a lot of the supports were roaming heavily. We'll be interested to see if they're going to kind of maintain that style or if they'll be moving more into the enchanters. We're obviously seeing a lot of Yuumi, seeing a lot of that style. And with TL on blue side, I also think it's harder to play purely through top because you can defend Armut by giving him last pick if you so choose.
Have that flexibility, and again, TL already banning away some of the picks that Armut has brought out in the past. The Gwen, one of his big comfort picks, Gnar, Jace, you look at things like this. Armut, very strong in the champions that he's good at, but hasn't always had the biggest champion pool. TL looking to limit at least some of that.
Yeah, in playoffs it helped a bit. I mean, we saw things like the GP, but Kennen also being meta, Graves top being meta. There's a few things he needs to pick up. And another thing I want to say about TL specifically is I feel like there's one thing you can read from TL in draft, and that is if they pick Kalista, they're going to play bot side. If there's no Kalista in the game, I still feel like they're always going to play top side and use Alphari's TP advantage or lane advantage to cover bot lane.
Yeah, something that is really interesting about their bot lane, you talk about CoreJJ wanting to roam. Tactical actually has an incredibly high forward percentage, even though CoreJJ is almost never there. This is something that can be a blessing and a curse. He's a very confident player. Sometimes he can create advantages solo, but it also does expose him to being attacked. When you're playing aggressively and your support is roaming, you can be at risk. Leona, though, grabbing that up here does mean that they want to play more of that engaged, heavy style, and I think that suits CoreJJ very well.
Yeah, interesting. Jace is up, Irelia's up, Zhao is up with Lee Sin down, and they choose to go for Leona first pick. Just shows the priority they have on that bot lane matchup, specifically with Yuumi down.
And I think that they are hoping Armut will show his top lane pick, right? I think if you are trying to play through top, if that's what you have identified, even if you think Jace is the best line right now, you're looking to get some sort of a counter.
Oh, Jarvan 1-2 again. Obviously, TL can opt into kind of mobility champions like EDG did similarly last game when 100 Thieves first rotated the Jarvan, which again could be some sort of flex. And expect Kaiser to be able to counter this Leona with things like perhaps the Braum for lane phase, or maybe just more engaged supports.
And I mean, that could mean Ezreal for tactical. That's one of his ultimate comfort picks. That's something that he went to all the time, especially when CoreJJ is going to be looking heavily towards roam, when you want some mobility to deal with a champion like the Jarvan. Ezreal can be a good option.
And I like to see the Aphelios locked in here too, with the Leona locked in on the opposite side. It does free Mad Lions up to third pick Thresh, secure themselves a very standard, very strong scaling bot lane option.
I think LeBlanc, something like LeBlanc Ezreal could be great for TL then. Because if you know Aphelios is going to play with Braum or Thresh in the lane itself, you don't actually have any point-and-click lockdown for those two champions specifically, so you can play this kind of EG-esque style where you keep the Braum's length and just keep poking and prodding at them and play for burst.
And LeBlanc is definitely a comfort pick here for Jensen. We'll see where we want to see come out from Santorin. I don't know if he's going to go towards the Xin. It doesn't feel like it's as much of a comfort pick for him. He's always been more kind of towards, you know, the more tanky style champions, the Trundles, the Volibears, those sort of style. But this is going to fit well, and he is going to bring it out. So you're expecting Thresh here, almost guaranteed, and then it just comes down to what are the bans. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
TF.
this is going to say, like, what answers do you have into LeBlanc? We saw EDG do this again, similar to 100 Thieves draft. They ban out Lissandra, TF's down, Ryze's down, things like Sylas. What's your answer? And Humanoid's going to go for the TF, a European special, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it works really well, and it also is going to help shut down any sort of top lane advantage that Alphari might be able to grab up. If you save last pick here for Armut, if you ban out a couple of picks to potentially shut down the bot lane, protect the Aphelios, TF can look to move towards top, attack Alphari, and really put that in their favor because he is excellent at moving around the map. One of the most impressive things about Humanoid for me is how he stays even or ahead in CS while still roaming constantly.
And has the tools now to do that, and of course it's also going to make Jensen's life just so much more difficult. The power of Gold Card in the mid to late game, one single misstep from LeBlanc, and she goes from a hyper-mobile kind of poke mage to a very useless champion. So have to give that respect over to the side of Humanoid. Jensen going to need to outplay here in mid late, but the Braum banned away. Matt, interestingly, banning away the Kalista, limiting the options for TL to play towards the bottom side, especially as it might be a bit of a difficult lane here for Carzzy if you see a Braum ban and a Thresh ban. Aphelios a bit more of a vulnerable champion.
You'll have to see what support they opt into because things like Ezreal and Draven are still up and available for tactical if you want to play some kind of aggressive lane with this winning early mid-jungle, you'd say. We saw it from EDG. Xin Zhao kind of functions similarly to Lee Sin, just less gap close when you do set it up, but I think you hit the nail on the head there, Draco, talking about TF, where it's one stun card locks down the LeBlanc, and that's why in Europe it was almost like a counter pick, because what you would do is get rapid fire, stun the LeBlanc, Everfrost, she can't move, so you just burst her down because, of course, she's a glass cannon. Expecting a Thresh ban to come out here from TL, and there it is. So what support will Mad Lions answer with?
Certainly a good question. Taking their time, Kaiser, of course, we know is a player that we love to see on playmakers, but with no information on the enemy AD carry, can still opt to blind pick their top laner, but against Alphari, I mean, you just can't. It
just wouldn't make sense, really.
And my next question is Graves, right? We saw how strong Graves top is. It's really good against the Jarvan. If Alphari's been practicing that, that's something he can opt into for top side and just add more mobility into the Jarvan to force it into jungle and then see what Armut has as a counter pick. But it's going to be the Rell for the engage. And the Jarvan's good follow-up on that. It's just how does TL round this out? And Ezreal again.
I think it's probably Ezreal almost guaranteed. Like Twitch, he brought it last year at Worlds, but it just doesn't seem to really make sense, I think, in this style. So, you know, Ezreal for sure. Jace is still up, and that is really a comfort pick for Alphari. You know, if he wants to just go towards that. Playing with the Camille, though, this allows you to play through side, allows you to get that side lane advantage, but it is difficult to play split pushers when you have TF on the other side.
Are they going to pick something like Fiora, I wonder? I saw Armut playing it a little bit in solo queue, obviously does well into Camille, and with a TF by your side, you can split push to infinity and win out on that matchup with 2 items.
Jax as well, if you're actually confident. Jax is an incredible matchup into it, and he is going to go for it. I actually really like this. This is one of the picks I always want to see to punish Camille when Camille comes out blind in pro play. If Camille hookshots in, you pop up the counter-strike, basically has to back off immediately. It's very difficult for Camille to ever go aggressive in this matchup in the early levels. Really all Jax has to worry about is the tack sweep, avoiding that in the early levels, not getting poked down. Once you get to a little bit of sustain, if you go Bork rushed, like, it's a very difficult matchup for Camille to ever win. Yeah,
you're completely right. And the way this matchup functions is Camille should win 1-6. If it's a good Jax and good Camille, Camille should have the push and should win out on the 1v1, especially if she runs Ignite. So when Jax gets an item and Humanoid has level 6, they're going to play for side lane. Mad Lions comp is all about side lane. We'll see if TL can respond with LeBlanc and Camille. They can match it pretty easily. It's just a case of who gets these solo laners ahead. And both bot lanes and jungle facilitate a lot of engage.
And naturally, it's eyes on Alphari. potentially winning match at levels 1 to 6. Have to see if he can get a lead. He did have to blind pick. He will struggle with the Jax as we get later into the game, but maybe he can get a big enough advantage that it will not matter. Naturally looking towards that. In the meantime, of course, bot lane as well. CoreJJ potentially freed up to roam while Ezreal sits nice and lonely under that bot lane tower. Have to see how both these teams want to play the early game.
Yeah, it's so interesting because all of these different positions are going to want to really affect the top lane, but sometimes the best way to affect the top lane is actually by affecting the mid lane, right? We could see jungle support go towards mid, try to put the TF ahead, or try to keep the TF locked under his turret on the other side, get the LeBlanc ahead so that they can not affect the top side. And it's going to be really interesting to see where these two teams decide to attack.
And a great example of that was the T1 game where we saw Owner run mid to help keep the mid push for FLICKR on the Azir. We might see a similar kind of thing there. You're completely right, because top lane is Armageddon. Alphari has Ignite, and everyone wants to play topside this game.
Ooh, even Grasp. And Grasp is such a laning rune. Like, this is full all-in to try to win the lane here. TL going 5 top. They're going to try to see if they can maybe force a flash off Armut if he walks a little bit too forward. You can do kind of that wraparound where you go half the top side, but it doesn't look like they want to commit to it.
How hard are they going to commit? Because if they go late, they could split the map top side and just leave it on a split map. If they go now, then maybe they can get Armut's flash or try to force him back.
Debating on the options here. A little bit of damage laid down, but thumbs up and an angry Coco Monkey about all the action we're going to see there on the top side as the ward does get placed to at least track early jungle pathing, but Matt, of course, quick to respond on the opposite side of the map, just trading vision.
I still really like the attempt, because if Armut is being a little bit lazy, if he decides to poke his head out into the river, you could potentially force a summoner, and it's worth the attempt.
Yeah, and now important thing to note, Elyoya hasn't placed his ward and instantly based, so that means when he buys Sweeper, it's not on cooldown. So he's going to run out towards the top side and take this top side ward on the red. Yes, they'll see him and they'll know he's starting on it, but maybe if kind of Armut or Humanoid in range, they can get XP from it. Doesn't look like they're moving for now. Yep, Armut's moving. So on the first wave, the first 6 creeps, Armut will level up.
And as we get into this game, Verizon 5G all chat. Share your opinions, cheers, and well wishes using the Verizon 5G all chat. Let us know. Is this going to be a happy Ezreal game? Is it going to be a sad Ezreal game? That's the thing we're keeping track of, as we have 2
It's always going to be happy because I'm casting with my friends.
Wow, you're so wholesome. All right, I like that. That's a world champion attitude, Cadril, right there.
He is indeed a world champion, and I'm a non-playoffs maker.
Hey, look, I didn't go there. I didn't go there.
Maybe the first pro player to ever make worlds without having made playoffs. Think about that.
There it is. There it is.
There you go.
We take those. We take them where we can get them. That's all I say.
You and Bean. There it is.
Yeah, Bean too. You don't even have that. You had to take it away from him, Dracos.
Why did you do that, man?
You're sick.
I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you?
I mean, you're right. I'm sorry. You know what? Rough start to the game.
Yeah, and zooming on in the game, Alphari in the 1v1 has push into Armut. He's actually winning out on the trades. You talked about it, Ezreal, how you can use the W from Camille to poke out the Jax. So 1 to 6, I think it is kind of Camille favored. And Elyoya started topside, so he's going to do these 3 camps topside. Is he going to look to invade or try to move towards topside? Or is he just going to full clear down and leave Armut on this weak side, knowing that maybe TL doesn't have the best dive setup?
I mean, I absolutely agree. This matchup in the early levels is 100% about just dodging the attack sweep. If you're not dodging it and Camille is getting the heal off it with the sweet spot as well as the bonus damage, you will get chipped down. You need to get towards sustain, and to do that at a reasonable pace, you have to avoid that, not get chunked out, push back the base early. So we'll see how well Armut can do, but so far, Alphari has hit every single one, and really all Alphari has to do, you hit the W for the slow and the sustain, you walk forward when your passive is up to trade with that passive physical damage shield.
Yeah, incredibly difficult overall. Just feels like Camille's kit much better suited for the early game, for the early trading. On top of that, Alphari also has the Ignite and the Grass compared to the Conqueror. Conqueror not going to see full stacks for at least another 10 to 12 minutes of gameplay.
And Kaiser just ran mid. You can see Carzzy's running back to bot after having base, but he's just making sure Humanoid gets the push. Like Ezreal said, they need to keep this mid push because that can impact sides. But this is the dive that they're going for. Humanoid can match with TP if they commit to it, and Armut should have to dodge.
Commit, stunned, locked up, but the counter-strike now coming out. He's going to get that one. Can he leap back to the minions? Alphari getting taken lower. The redive, though, should make it all too easy. Just walk in, just one more auto. First blood for Santorin.
And that's the danger of Elyoya pathing bot side. Yes, you swept the ward, but they had full information that you're pathing bot, so they can go for this dive top. There can't be a TP response from Humanoid because he's out of mana, and they actually pulled it off. So now this Camille is actually quite far ahead of the Jax. Maybe Alphari can save this TP advantage like we saw in the finals to cover bot lane.
Absolutely. You save your TP, you walk back towards top, you have the wave reset. There's no reason to really expend it unless you're getting too greedy. So I expect to see him just walk straight out. He has the Sheen for the early buy. So again, it's going to be about these quick trades with Camille, utilizing the passive, the Sheen procs, the third Q, tack sweep. You go in, you poke down that Jax, who did have to grab a D-Blade, which is obviously an effective buy, but it is going to slow your build towards that first item.
And again, this is exactly what you want to see if you are a Team Liquid fan. Santorin up to the top side. Yes, he grabs that first kill, but Alphari getting put ahead in this lane when he needed to get ahead is massive for the momentum of this team moving forward. Makes this early game so much easier.
Yeah, just like we talked about, having that TP to make sure bot is safe. That's exactly what TL wanted. And I'm going to give you guys a quick stat. Okay, so
Sure.
the LCK average of staying in mid lane is 64%. So that means they stay 64% in their lane and they don't move out too much. Humanoid's number is 46, so he needs to...
opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. He needs to be unlocked, and he's playing a champion that can do exactly that. TL obviously have the advantage down towards the bot side because they have TP advantage, and Alphari's ahead top. It's all about unlocking mid right now, I think, for Mad Lions.
Keep a track of it. Level 6 not too far away from Humanoid, has the Summoner Spellbook as well. See where he wants to set his eyes. Elyoya and Humanoid moving together. Level advantage right now for Elyoya, has been able to pull ahead in camps, and Santorin, and for now,
Oh, he's alone now.
unspotted Humanoid. Oh, did not see that one coming. A little splinter himself from
Alphari's
Santorin. Jensen
coming.
now coming in. That's going to be an easy kill pickup. Elyoya just running for the hills. How long left on the Flag and Dragon's hook shot going forward? Armut can go in, but he might be trading his own life in the midst of this one too. Flag drag out to safety. Elyoya just barely making it out, but a big start there for TL.
That was so smart from Santorin, not revealing, not retreating, waits till Elyoya goes over the wall there, and then finds the isolated Humanoid with Alphari on the roam. They don't have to commit anything really to it to get that kill, and Humanoid intelligently just realizes he's going to go down, so he saves the sums.
Yeah, saves the sums because he knows the repeat gank from LeBlanc and Zhao would be deadly, especially if Alphari has top push and he's level 6 on Camille. He's all but dead. We saw Flandre in the EDG game after being unlocked top was impacting mid so much, but like I said, great patience there from Santorin. Played with the information, called Jensen across, and that's something we didn't see so much. When Santorin was playing Trundle in the finals with Jensen, that same situation happened where Santorin wanted to contest the top crab, Jensen was farming mid, Santorin got collapsed on in the 2v2 mid jungle and died, and as Jensen responded, Santorin fell, but this time a lot more coordination coming out from the mid jungle of Team Liquid.
Tactical. Gonna have to shift out to safety. Still gonna get locked up briefly. Carzzy not there with the follow-up. Does have the Graviton for the potential CC, but CoreJJ now coming down, and Carzzy, I see, taking a lot of damage in the midst of that trade with the wave now crashing into them as well. CoreJJ can roam if he wants
Alphari
to.
just based. Are they going to try to go for some sort of aggressive play here?
They could, if they can stack this wave up and crash it, just their jungler is topside basing, and Elyoya has bot side vision, so it would be some kind of 3v3 dive. TF obviously has the ultimate, so that'll be a 4v3. So still saving the TP, but look what Alphari's doing. He's moving mid. He's actually running mid from base because he knows Armut is stacking a wave into him, and it's a cannon wave on the next wave, so he has a lot of time to play with, and he can just E through this lane. He has topside vision and just drop the ult onto Humanoid. Maybe there's a world where they can get a kill.
Yeah, or at the very least, potentially force a sum, push him back to base, unlock Jensen to move on the map, and maybe help him back out on the other side, because Alphari moving here through their pink ward. They know they have that pixel brush safe, and they're going to look for it.
Connected. Alphari now stepping forward. How much more do they want to commit? Tactical sweep, second chain. Humanoid incredibly low, but they don't want to pull the trigger on the dive. They do not know where Elyoya is.
I think Alphari could have gone in there. The pause probably stayed something towards it. Alphari had a free kill there. Just walk up, Q, ignite. He was chained twice. Maybe something happened there, because I think that was a guaranteed kill. Even if he doesn't get in range and drops the ignite, I think one more auto from Jensen and he's dead. So opts to back out. Very curious what happened there.
I agree. I mean, that did seem like he should have had it.
Yeah.
You know, especially with the ultimate available, right? You know, it's pretty much guaranteed. There's no ability to flash away from that. You know, if you drop the ult, the Q comes through after. Like, he's dead.
I wonder what it could be, though, because as he was moving forwards, he opted out, started hitting the creeps and used his Q, right? So curious to see what happened there.
So Team Liquid pause coming in.
It looks like it's tactical, though.
From tactical. Yeah,
Oh.
production has confirmed that it's tactical. Potentially a peripheral issue. We'll keep you updated as to what the exact cause is, but
Okay.
the
So it wasn't
puzzling
Alphari at
fact,
all.
yeah, if it's not a bug, just a little bit puzzling there that he did not want to overcommit. Maybe content with just zoning him out of lane, maybe
Yeah.
setting their sights on some different objective instead of worrying about the kill on Humanoid.
The only kind of thought process I have here is that top lane is being pushed towards him, and I'm not sure if they had eyes on Elyoya. So if you are worried that you ult under the tower and then get hit by the flag and drag, you die and lose the wave that's pushing into your top lane tower, potentially even lose a plate, then maybe that's not worthwhile. You know, he is doing well in that 1v1 and potentially was concerned about that, but it's hard to know.
He looks like he's chilling anyway, so he doesn't mind too much. He's leaning back first on to tilt the chair backwards in the pause. The pro player classic. The second the pause comes in, you grab the lever and just pull it back and you just lay back.
I like it.
It's the number one
I
play.
like the absolute confidence. You can see a lot more serious faces on the side of Mad Lions.
Looks
but-
like NA has the advantage then.
Which is interesting because Mad Lions, especially in like the finals when they played up against Rogue, they were laughing non-stop in that game too. I think it was against Fnatic when the level 1 just fell apart. You know, they knew the game was lost and they were laughing about it and they tried. And I think that's the beauty of Mad Lions in a sense where they're losing the game, they'll laugh and have fun, and then they'll find random plays like stealing Baron and then they'll almost beat you. So I wonder if that mood's still being kept up in the team.
something that we will keep our eye on as we now get back into game. For now, Team Liquid holding on to about a 400, 500 gold lead, but some pretty big leads in the most important areas. That said, Armut able to pull just a little bit ahead in CS. Will even out as Alphari goes top to catch this wave. Elyoya spotted out. Jensen going to have to give some respect to the J4 here, but as highlighted earlier, hyper-mobile champion, that LeBlanc, very difficult to lock down without the help of a gold card.
And this is one of Jensen's signature plays. Like, he loves, if he knows someone's around and they are not sure that he knows, he will always play just on the edge of the engage range to try to bait people to waste time, to stay around.
Kaiser leaping out. Nothing going to come from that one. Santorin spotted out on the ward. Will clear out the vision. Could set up for a potential dragon on the bottom side, but Elyoya coming into the mid lane. Flash forward. That's going to be the gold card. Dash back on safety. Flash forward again. Looking for the real LeBlanc, and they're going to pick the wrong.
Just ignite and the ulti there.
Oh, it's a horror. Absolutely debated. Jensen gets out with just using nothing. Thumbs up. Oh,
Did you tell me
W? Yeah.
W down. Time it in the chat.
Oh, it's a 50-50, isn't it? But he baited and switched. He used the clone to run forwards and ran to the side. So, yeah, props to Jensen. Mad Lions committed almost everything for that play.
Yeah, 2 flashes, ulti, ignite. That hurts.
Imagine the absolute uncertainty when you push that Jarvan ulti and then you get it wrong. Oh,
25 gold.
You're expecting the plus 300. You're like, wait
Yeah.
a second.
Honestly, Jensen the Mad Lad makes it out. Well deserved. Mind game, I feel like the better you get at League of Legends, the rarer that mind game works, but you got to know right when it's time to pull it out, and Jensen did.
He did indeed. Now TL just trying to crash his bot wave. Maybe CoreJJ wants the base soon. Herald just spawned 9 minutes in the game. Alphari has saved this TP advantage for so long. That means Mad Lions can't make their own play down towards the bot side. But soon they'll start to find windows. Santorin's already behind Alphari to make sure this wave crashes. And I think both teams will start to move to Herald. You can see Kaiser's going there now. See what CoreJJ does.
Taking their time. How far are you going to crash this wave? Herald is mentioned in a pretty solid position as CoreJJ running down the mid lane already, ready to make some impact on the map. Carzzy and Tactical both pretty comfortable on the bottom side, although Tactical looks like he's going to try to push that wave out as quickly as possible. In the meantime, Alphari going to get stunned up, stunned again. There's just too much chain CC. Precision Protocol coming out. The hookshot wall dive is going to be able to walk away to safety right back to the waiting arms of his team, but Kaiser waiting in the darkness. Will now get spotted out. It does not look like TL are going to be in a comfortable position to keep going on this Herald with Alphari so low, but picking up the fruit might mean he has enough health to go for this.
He's healing up a lot, but he doesn't have the ultimate to lock someone down. It's a stare down of the 4v4, but I think Mad are going to back off. The Cataclysm's not up. They don't know where Tactical is, and TL have first move into the river. If they got that pick onto Alphari, maybe they could have contested this, but because they used their summoners to do so, looks like they're going to back off.
And these couple early plays just not really working here for Mad. It's always pretty painful as a TF. Before you have CDR, you pop your first ulti, you don't get anything from it. Such a long cooldown in these early levels. When you've gone Merc Treads, you don't have any ability haste there to speed that up. And things going pretty well here for TL, but it's a very even game. And this is honestly kind of comfort for Mad, who is such an excellent team fighting team. You spoke about how their strength really wasn't their lanes, especially in towards the regular season. Carzzy, Armut, not exceptional laning stats, but they play so well in the team fights.
TP behind.
Here again.
Elyoya's here.
Oh, he didn't even see the TP.
Alphari, Ignite, has to have a perfect hookshot wall dive, but the Cataclysm immediately going to come out, just limiting the options for Alphari, really running out of time to use that cooldown, but now TP coming into the top lane, but Kaiser's here as well. Jensen now going to have to just dash right back out to safety.
Perhaps a bit of a misplay there from Alphari. I will say I think he was dead anyway, despite being able to hit that hook shot, but yeah, just good play from Elyoya. Instantly ults, uses the Cataclysm, which means Alphari can't use the E, because it won't have long enough range.
Humanoid, no flash. Kaiser in the area, but it should be an easy kill pickup now, trying to save the day, but not nearly enough. Burned down. Santorin able to pick up Humanoid. Kaiser now has to run for the hills, but the chains are still connected. Will they go for the re-dive? TL opting to back away instead. A bloody exchange.
They have Herald too. Does Santorin want to drop this in mid? TP top back from Alphari. That does get used up. And CoreJJ and Santorin moving down towards the bot side. The game's starting to pick up the pace. Dragon going to get started by TL.
Yeah, I like this. They get the kill back mid. They are going to go towards the Dragon. Looks like they're just going to hold on to Herald for now. I'm not sure exactly how much time he does have on it. You would think they would want to get that in the pockets of Alphari, try to keep him ahead of the pace. But you're going to have to do that pretty soon if you're going to go for it, because I mean, that can't be more than, I don't know, it looks like about half.
Yeah, expected go towards the top side. 4 plates top, and Tactical's been playing weak side the majority of the game. But I think the important thing here for TL is the mid jungle of Team Liquid just feels like they're on the same page and they're always moving together. Yes, Jensen wasn't part of the 2 kills, but Santorin's playing through mid, which means Jensen can be first to respond. We'll see how that progresses throughout the game. It's only 1,000 gold lead just now. Alphari did die and made that small mistake, but he is still 20 CS up. And as we talked about, top lane is Armageddon. Humanoid has ult up again, and Elyoya's on the way.
Rinse and repeat on these top plays. Of course, it's going to be spotted out, the vision laid down. Team Liquid doing their diligence to make sure that they see that coming. Maybe the next one can work out. Alphari again, a flashless champion, but the hook shot just makes it so easy to make it out of so many of these ganks. Alphari walking down though could put him in trouble, but Santorin in the area means he should be safe as Jensen just goes in for some small cheeky trades onto Humanoid. For now, it feels like Team Liquid in control of the top side of the map.
Yeah, definitely the case. We'll see if they want to try to get back up there and try to really extend the lead, because though they killed Armut, the kill didn't go to Alphari. Armut got a kill back. You know, he's going to be about, even if not actually ahead in gold. Santorin, though, does have the wraparound.
Yeah, and Santorin went mid first again, so it means Jensen could match topside, and CoreJJ is here too. Kaiser's matching the play, so it's almost like a 3v3 up here. Alphari and Armut aren't joining as of now, but Mad Lions looking for something here. He's going to opt out of it.
Just going to gold card there, just a little bit of contesting around the Raptors. Of course, Humanoid is going to have a wave crashing into that tower shortly, so does need to get back to mid lane unless he loses something, as Santorin just goes for the cheeky steal.
Yeah, I think that TL trying to unlock top by using Herald, and Mad Lions are reading the play. Basically, it's just a stare down of 4v4 top side of mid laners pushing the wave and both the jungle supports running top, because TL are going to pop the Herald to try to take the tower, and Mad Lions want to stop them from doing so.
Yeah, I think at this point you just have to drop it, though. I mean, you don't have a lot of time left. They want to get plates here with it. You won't be able to get the full tower, but you will be able to at least get some gold here. Mad more than equipped to stop any sort of a follow-up play on it.
And that's the thing, if you look at the drafts, Mad Lions could cross-map. You know, there's no TP top, there's no TP mid, Humanoid has ult, they could do a numbers advantage play towards the bot side, but the win condition of this game for both teams is top lane, right? Camille's a better team fighter, Jack's a better split pusher, whichever one's ahead, the other team can force.
First chain going to connect, bone plating going down, gold card traded back, but Jensen's right back over the wall. Not doing too much damage quite yet. You can see very defensive early itemization coming up from Humanoid. Merc treads just to limit some of that. Alongside the corrupting potion, trying to stay healthy in this lane as long as possible.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got Merc treads and you have Resolve secondary, those initial little bits of chip are not going to do too much until Jensen has a couple items. You can start to threaten a bit more, but Humanoid just trying to hang in this lane has been pressured quite a lot by TL.
Alphari, though, really getting the better of these trades. Armut, of course, a few items under his belt, maybe things start to go better, but with Divine Sunder for Alphari, as well as really just playing very well around the edge of that counter-strike, denying the stun. Armut again in a difficult position. No TP either, as Alphari's already walking this wave forward. Not afraid about the minion aggro, happy to just keep pressuring.
I think Alphari wants to go for an all in there on Armut, but I think he knew that Jensen didn't have TP and Humanoid did. So if he ran past the wave and used his E, there would be a TP straight behind him, and it'd be a 2v1. He has vision to work with, but his team was down towards the bot side of the map, so making sure he just keeps the advantage that he has. Still about a 20 CS lead, as we thought earlier. And Elyoya now down towards the bot side of the map.
And there's a window now for Humanoid. Hits level 11, so rank 2 of the ulti. He has the Everfrost complete. He has the stopwatch now available here, so could look to try to get aggressive here, push in mid, move towards bot, move towards top, try to find a play in one of these side lanes.
Yeah, and he has Everfrost now as well, so he has a lot more lockdown. The stun card into the Everfrost is a lot longer CC, and he has Exhaust too in case a 4v4 breaks out. Can drop that onto Jensen. Elyoya hovering bot side. Don't think there's too much kill pressure there, though. All summoners up, a cleanse on Ezreal. Seems pretty hard to lock down. Mad Lions just going to back off for now.
Similarly, Carzzy has not spent his money in a very long time. You can see Trinity Force alongside the tier already completed for Tactical. Carzzy ahead in CS, but very much behind in itemization. Should be able to buy a little bit more as he gets to go back, or doesn't get to go back. Good cancel coming out from Tactical.
That's pretty big, you know. He's sitting on small components, and TL's jungle support are pushing Kaiser out of his own jungle, so that means they can wrap around towards the bot side and maybe try to threaten this tower. It's 50 minutes in, there's no plates, so this tower would die pretty quickly, and Mad Lions don't have enough TPs to respond. So Humanoid's rocking with the exhaust. Armut's pushing in top, and Elyoya's top side, so this will be first tower to TL's bot lane.
And this looks really nice as well, because I think they want to move towards this next dragon, but it's play on top side.
Shot wall dive, now leaping forward. Alphari not going to find the stun immediately. Does have the ult to try to block something, but it's just too much chain CC. Finally now gets to ult, but Elyoya on the way up. The flank, the drag not going to work together, but the Cataclysm now comes out. He's still alive. The tactical sweep. Alphari on the edge there, but Mad will make the dive work.
And Mad Lions don't match the bot play. They don't stay with Carzzy, they don't defend the play because their win condition is top side. TL go for bot. They see jungle support pushing out, so that means Mad Lions look for this top dive. Elyoya, bit of a scuffed combo there with the QE, but he got the ult across, and now he might be in trouble.
Flash to safety. Santorin flashing forward with the third auto. Now Kaiser on the way in, but it's not going to be enough. Jensen finishing off the kill, and now Kaiser's going to be next on the list. Carzzy in the area, but his gun's useless in this exchange unless TL fully commit and opt not to auto him, so he's just going to force to walk away.
A good kill back there from TL, but, you know, importantly, Armut getting put ahead here. We'll see if TL want to move down towards that bottom side, try to get another dragon here. Push towards Soul. It's either going to be that Mountain Soul or the Infernal Soul, both pretty high value in a game like this.
Yeah, it is indeed. They've had every neutral in the game so far. This is going to be a second Herald that they can drop in mid, crack open mid tower. Top lane tower is 1 HP, so as much as this was a cross-map trade of towers, TL are definitely way more favorite now because of these neutrals and because of the early top lane plays we saw from the Herald before.
Now what are they going to do with the second Herald? We're only able to grab a few plates with the first one, but should be able to break down at least one tower with the second one. No more plates standing, but TL, let's see where they want to keep the pressure. Humanoid already kicked out to the side lane. You got two members here. Alphari can't come to respond. His support on the way in CoreJJ. Armut, though, feeling a lot more confident as he gets more items under his belt. Will leap back out to safety. TP now burned. In the meantime, Tactical, the one allowed to roam free, the one allowed to just push in the side lane. But while he does break down a tower, it looks like he may have to give up this dragon on the bottom side.
That was a nice bait from Armut, just walking forward with the counter-strike, not using his leap strike, so when the TP comes in, he could just queue back out to safety and use that to get the dragon.
Flag and drag. Stepping forward now for Armut, looking to find the stun on the CoreJJ. Has proc the aftershock, a big stun now coming into the midst of everything, but it's Kaiser across the backside. Carzzy untouched. Big damage coming out, but Santorin using the ult to knock them back. Trying to turn it back. Big damage on the backside. Kaiser incredibly low, but it's a massive ult from the Aphelios. Carzzy now stepping forward, completely unafraid. Here comes the ultimate from the TF. Will he commit? Mad Lions now backing away. A bloodbath on the bottom side.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1, and TL are the ones opting into that fight. It's a 4v5, a lot of chain sequence of events there where, like you said, Armut baiting the TP from Jensen. They can't get the tower. Let's do Dragon, but hang on a second. TL's walking up while Tactical's farming top wave. They engage 4v5. And it just looks like it's a 1-for-1 in the end.
That's one of those situations that to me just feels like, hey, we committed the TP, we need to get something here, and a bit of an overforce potentially. Doesn't turn out too bad for them though, as they did have Tactical pushing elsewhere. They are able to get away with their tail between their legs.
As we see this one again, like you said, they want to force something. Jensen's jumping over the wall, and Elyoya's like, guys, we should just fight this. Tactical's top, it's a 5v4, let's go. Thing is, Carzzy's quite far away, so it is a 3v3 initially before Carzzy arrives, and the way he joins the fight is flashing forward. Santorin's ultimate here breaks up a lot of members. Carzzy flashes forward to make sure it's a 1-for-1, and in the end, that's the trade-off. The two-shot barrage did a lot of damage from downtown, like I said. Drago's almost taking down Kaiser, and that'll be the end of that. But I think the important thing for this game, as much as Mad Lions are playing around as top laners, Tactical's been getting pretty strong, and Mad Lions' comp is not very good at dealing with this Ezreal. Yeah, Tactical's strongest member, well, richest member in the game right now, has his 2 items complete here. He's going to be feeling good, and see a tweet from Jackson McQueen. Jensen is NA faker, and he rocks my worlds. Also, the casters are handsome.
That's an easy way to get featured. We call that bribery, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Jackson McQueen.
We're not above that.
We're absolutely not above that. We'll see if NA faker can do what needs to be done to take this game all the way. As for now, TL...
Isn't NA faker doggy?
No, well, he was E... it's really hard to keep
sure
track.
It's not him either, if we're being honest.
So it is Jensen.
Well, you know, it's a loving nickname. I wouldn't say it's an official title as of yet. We'll see, though. Again, Mad Lions falling behind here. 1.7k goal lead for TL. The pressure, I think, the more important part of the equation as they continue to push on the top side. But again, Armut on this Jax does feel like an inevitable win condition if given enough space and time. So TL keeping the pressure up.
Yeah, and TL are playing on 2 lanes. You can see Tactical's hitting mid tower, Alphari and Jensen staying together, hitting top tower, whereas Mad Lions are trading for bot tier 1. Armut, a little bit safe there, but it's going to be a trade-off for now, but tier 2 worth more gold. Mad Lions trying to defend.
Done. Jumping back under the tower. Kaiser with a big ulti, but Armut's so incredibly low. Now the knockback coming in, not quite able to finish. Armut, Elyoya, and it's everybody. The tower really doing a lot of work here, but Carzzy off to the backside, not really having much impact in the fight yet. Here comes Humanoid, here comes the ultimate, the gold card as well, but massive man advantage. Really trying to split this fight up. Humanoid on the backside. TP coming out. Keep your eye on the gold card. Wherever it goes is where Mad's going to try to kill. Stepping forward now, but TL pulling backwards, knowing eventually they're going to have to take this fight. Big damage onto Elyoya. Armut now stepping in. He's full health. Humanoid off to the side, but he doesn't have a gold card. He manages to lock one down. Santorin, the entire team, fight poised to break out, and now Mad stepping forward. Big ulti now going in. Tactical shut down. Elyoya in the midst of everybody. Alphari trying to hold on TL. Trading back and forth here. Armut still on the front line, still alive, but ticking. He gets dropped. Humanoid and Carzzy, the last man standing. Alphari versus the world. Humanoid and Carzzy will walk away. Massive shutdown onto the Aphelios.
It's an absolute bloodbath, but Carzzy coming out the big winner there, picking up so much gold on the Aphelios. All of a sudden, he's going to go back. He's going to complete an item here. 500 gold bounty to his name. TL and Mad fighting back and forth here very evenly. But when Aphelios is untouched, that spells a rough fight. Yeah, and I have to say, great patience from Mad Lions. They tried to defend the tier 2, which seemed like a bold call because it was like a 2v4 initially with Kaiser and Elyoya going in. But they just prolonged the fight so long that when Humanoid TP's in, he ults behind them, drops a ward for Armut who's based. So they just played the fights really well slowly, and now they found themselves with a gold lead actually in this game. And I even really liked how they kind of pushed Tactical towards the wall, forcing him to actually use his shift and his flash prior to really going in hard on the engage there. was very well played and showcases one of their best strengths. One of the reasons they won the LEC was their team fighting, was their intelligence in these close game situations.
And I think it takes a lot of confidence to play a team fight slow. And in this case, Mad Lions do just that, coming out on top, finding a gold lead for the first time in this game. 300 in their favor for now, setting up around the next major objective, looking to rinse and repeat on their earlier team fight success.
Yeah, and Humanoid has rapid fire now, so they can just afford to throw out stuns and just try to play on their own vision. Humanoid in trouble.
Mitch coming in though. Humanoid going to be forced back here in a second. Ezreal ulti, not quite going to connect.
Humanoid can base and then look to ult back into the fight. If Mad Lions play slow, that should be all right. Yes, he got chunked out a lot. He's going to recall now, but the Dragon's spawning in 10 seconds, and Mad Lions are losing their vision control, which means Jensen and Tactical can start to step forwards and poke Mad Lions out. Maybe Mad could look to contest this or just opt into a Baron. We'll see what they do.
You can see Mad was just defending the recall because Jensen wanted to step forward and actually stop the recall from going through. Armut,
Counter-strike down. Santorin now stepping forward. The slow only going to connect on this. Now trying to move for more. Humanoid on the way in. Kaiser using the ult defensively, but Alphari still waiting to come in. Alphari waiting on the backside. Maybe he can get something done. Carzzy still living for now, but that's a massive shutdown traded right back. They're going to find one. Alphari now in the midst of the team. Mad Lions team fighting is good, but TL have found the punish. TL have found the fight.
They could go Baron here. They're going to start it up. They want to force Mad to try to contest here 4v2. Neither team does have a jungler. No TPs available here for Mad. This should just be a Baron for TL.
That is definitely a Baron there, Ezreal. No TPs, like you said, to contest. They're too low as well. Armut's going to base. Humanoid's going to back off and farm some camps, and Mad Lions weren't patient enough. They didn't wait for Humanoid, and they got engaged on. And when you're playing Rell and Jarvan, you have to start jumping away. It's very hard to turn the fight.
And when you're escaping through these tight corridors, you're just setting up for Ezreal to dominate the fight. It was really the shoe being on the other foot in this one.
See, Armut just steps way too far forwards, and Santorin decisive engage, as we see in the new Axe FX replay. Santorin just chasing them down constantly, knocks them all back, and then keeps on going. Elyoya finds some kind of turn here, but Carzzy's way too low, and he gets shut down.
I mean, smart team fighting from Santorin. He's diving forward to set up the kill onto Carzzy. Yes, he has to give his life to do it, but Tactical is the one free firing this time around. He is the one that is safe.
I think so much credit to Santorin. Again, leaping in right as the counter-strike goes down. It's initially Tactical that forces it out early by landing so many consecutive Qs. Really, both of those players showing up clutch in that fight to make it work for TL. And just like that, it was TL in the lead, then it was Mad in the lead, and now we're back to TL in the lead. But when you're in the lead and you've got a Baron, it's a very different story. TL now in control of the map.
And let's see what they do with this Baron. Alphari has TP, but they're playing with these double solo laners holding hands. We saw it earlier on top tier 2. We're seeing it again here on bot tier 2. The difference is they have a Baron buff, so they're going to stay together because they know if Alphari separates and Armut matches, it's a 2v1 with the TF ultimate. So staying together is the best thing to do, and TL are playing mid-bot here on 2 lanes. We'll see if they can take tier 2s.
This is something TL love to do. Set up with the Baron in these 2 lanes, get pink wards in that jungle quadrant, have this safe rotation back and forth, pressuring both sides until they can get an odd-numbered setup like they have now in bot lane, where the mid backs up, the bot pushes in, and they take this tower.
Yeah, that's going to be a free bot tier 2. Both solo laners of TL have TP in case anything kicks off mid, and like we said, the Ezreal's so hard to engage on. And if Santorin's in their face, that's the only target they have. He has the knockback. Tactical's playing at range. That's going to be both mid and bot tier 2. And TL aren't done just yet. Looks like they're going to stick around for a little bit.
The Baron power play just continues to grow. These tier 2 towers, 650 gold a pop. Getting taken down. Going to mean some more item completions for the entire side of TL as we get out of this fight. On top of all the stopwatches and hourglasses they have for their players on the top side, the next team fight feels set up for TL to be successful.
And you can see TL even have the top wave pushing. They had that prep before they went mid, before they started pushing bot. That wave should be pushing in towards their opponents as the next one does arrive. And TL, if they can pressure these, they even have a chance to go up towards that top tier too.
Big stun, huge Ezreal, massive from Tactical. Carzzy now forced to back away. Yes, he does have the Severum, but he's going to need to get in range to use it. Gold card going to be big. Once it's gone, maybe they find an opportunity to go in. Santorin leaps forward. Big damage. Carzzy now flashing back to safety, trying to heal up as best he can, but Tactical untouched. Tactical can free fire into the back line right as the rest of the team gets things going, but Carzzy will not be forgotten. Aphelios coming in clutch. That's the ulti for the healing. Perfect guns to keep the fight going if they can make it happen. CoreJJ standing back, making sure to body block if necessary. TL on the retreat. TP coming in, but very far away from the exchange. Humanoid now running forward, has the ulti as well. Gold card, where will it go? Has the Zhonya's to leap in. Gold card, locks up CoreJJ. The follow-up's there, but they're fighting right into the tower. Counter-strike to body block on the front line, but CoreJJ alive for now. TL turning it right back. They will not be disrespected. Mad Lions, too confident.
Mad way over-aggressive on that. The force onto Leona under the tower, and Jensen chasing.
Locked
He's got
up,
the flash.
Carzzy incredibly low, but Carzzy still living for now. No, again, Tactical's ulti hits home, knocks down Carzzy. Double kill comes in. Kaiser fumbles. TL tearing down the Mad Lions.
Yeah, that's going to be it. TL initially overextend, but then Mad Lions go way too deep. They knew they needed something to win this game. 30-second death timers. I think that's it. Alphari's back here. It's 5 members neighbors against none, and TL claimed the first victory in the EU-NA rivalry.
What a performance from TL, taking down the Mad Lions. The LEC's #1 seed will fall.
And in 27 minutes, at that, Mad Lions managed to get a shutdown onto Alphari. If they slow chase that a little bit, push them out and get some vision, then they're fine, but they overreach, and TL was so quick to punish. Santorin and Tactical stepped up huge this game, and especially enabling Jensen.
And right as we praise Mad Lions for the team fighting, right after they have that fantastic fight, they get a little over-eager. TL so good at punishing. Again, it happens in the mid lane. Mad Lions want to turn it around, want to turn things back in their favor, but they overcommit onto CoreJJ and TL, and Tactical and Santorin, especially in those fights. I mean, it was a thing of beauty.
It really was a very impressive game here from TL. You know, this was not just a snowball that got out of control. This was a slow, methodical game. Matt actually shut down what was really the initial win condition for TL. They played better around Alphari. They stopped Alphari. They got Armut into a pretty good position. But Tactical became this kind of silent carry who had been building up and building up, had been on an island in the bot lane with Carzzy, and was coming up huge in these late game fights.
Yeah, and I have to say, a lot of the plays Mad Lions did fumbled, you know, and especially on the mid ganks with the clones and all these things just didn't really go in their favor. TL got the early lead, but they kind of threw it. But then Mad Lions threw it back into them. The Baron play was perfection from TL. The overreach, not so much, but the counter engage was great.
And I think when you're TL and you can beat a Mad Lions, when Humanoid has Twisted Fate, his bread and butter, his signature pick, the pick he was just basically never allowed to have in playoffs, that is a damn good start to the tournament. Now, coming up next, we're going to get some reactions from Alphari on that win before the analyst desk takes over with a breakdown. Don't miss it. We'll be back after this.
15% greater than 85.
Quick math.
The magical power of the realm is a mystery. Like a guardian, it is with you always. Defending you, charging you, watching over you like... Actually, it's not magic. It's this Cisco network. The power behind every gank, every combo, every mind-blowing moment. At League of Legends World Championships.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where I am not quite Alphari, but don't you worry, we'll be getting that interview sorted and to you as quickly as possible. Until then, we're here to break down the EU versus NA matchup between Team Liquid and Mad Lions. We're going to talk about this, that, and the other thing. We'll start with the other thing. The other thing is the fact that two of you both told me Mad Lions was going to win this matchup.
Yeah,
so what happened, Emily? Oh, you know, get in here, Chronicle. You chomping at the bit. Okay.
I gotta be honest. I'm happy to be wrong in this scenario. As someone who has absolutely no horse in this race, I'm happy that the horse won. You know, TL with the upset win. Zil said it's all 50% bigger than 85. It's a beautiful way to start off what is, I'm sure, going to be a game that is going to be rewatched a lot.
It's a classic. You're telling me there's a chance, right? And 15% of Twitter right now is very happy. 85% not so much. But Emily, we did kind of talk a little bit about, you know, the avenues to victory for both of these teams, and we put a large focus into the top lane, and we did see a lot of action break down around there, at least at the very beginning.
Yeah, so I think the big thing was that if, you know, for TL to come away with this win, Santorin is the primary playmaker that I'm thinking of here, right? And, you know, we're going to see him have, I believe he participated in all but one kill in this entire game. I also thought TL just played a composition that they were incredibly comfortable with, whereas despite the fact that we talked a lot about Armut and getting the counter pick for him in the top lane, this was his first Jax game all year, so it wasn't necessarily something that we think of in terms of a comfort pick for him, despite the fact that obviously you saw later in fights when things were going a little bit more back and forth, the Jax is incredibly strong, and he matches the Camille really well in side lanes, especially the later the game goes on. But I'm thinking about Santorin, and I'm also thinking about Jensen, because Jensen had a great LeBlanc game here too. And when I was talking about win conditions for TL, it was not only what Core was going to do in terms of roam timings, but that mid-jungle duo.
Now, let's be honest, it wasn't the cleanest victory ever by Team Liquid. There were a few moments where it looked like, hey, maybe it's about to swing back in the other direction, and you can never count out this Mad Lions squad. But Chronicler, I think, at least I'm somewhat remiss, we didn't talk as much about Santorin in the pregame because exactly as Emily said, he was such a major factor in this team's victory, and so often in the LCS is the facilitator of any play that's made by this squad.
And you love to see it because we've seen, right, as Team Liquid has had a year where Santorin hasn't always been able to be there due to medical reasons, to see him not only come back but be so pivotal in this game. And I've seen a lot of Sinzaos in planes especially that find some early impact and then don't really get anything on outside of that. But he was not only able to kind of find the early leads that you're somewhat supposed to get on the champion, but then in addition to that, his mid-game skirmishing and some of the zoning ultimates he found, especially in one of those bot side fights, splitting up that entire play, buying more space for tactical, or rather for his other laners there in the bot side, helped them out so much. And even later in the game, like, tactical was untouched in large part due to Santorin keeping him safe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, actually, is that, like, Santorin kind of not only facilitated the early game, and then, you know, Jensen is opening up so much space on this LeBlanc, but the fact that he kind of became the primary front line, so that when the rest of the team, you have two incredibly mobile solo lane carries, and then tactical in a lot of these fights that they won is just firing from the back line completely untouched.
I think the other thing we have to consider too is just what a boost of confidence this must be for a Team Liquid squad that has struggled internationally in the past. While of course there are some different members on this team, starting out on this foot has got to be you know, a big swing in momentum for them as they push forward. And Chronicler, I love your point about Santorin and the medical issues, the adversity that this team has had to overcome throughout their entire domestic split. And so, if anything, I think it bodes very well for them and the progression that they might be able to show us here in the group stage.
We'll see, you know.
And
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
see.
I mean, I think that Emily's, you know, call for being not getting ahead of ourselves is also good, especially because, you know, EU week 1, it's not always quite what you're looking for. Mad Lions rather in best of 1, also not necessarily ideal. But I do really agree with you, Dash, that regardless of like any contextualization that you might do with this win, fact of the matter is that Team Liquid show that when it comes to like raw talent, they are able to match quite nicely, which they should with players of this caliber, but then actually pulling it off and also showing the aggression that I think sometimes at international events NA doesn't show quite as much as they do within their own region is a great start of the tournament.
Yeah, for Mad Lions, I don't think any real cause for concern, but on the side of North America in Team Liquid, a massive first victory here in the group stage. Now, before we move ahead to our next matchup, Lore caught up with Alphari on the ground in Iceland to get his thoughts on this game.
Thank you very much, Dash. And Alphari, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on winning the first game convincingly. I want to talk about the early game because Mad Lions here chose to leave the counter pick for top lane, but it didn't go their way, actually. So what was the strategy on Team Liquid's side to get the early game in your favor?
Honestly, we didn't think that they would be able to execute a strong early game topside draft against us. I think he made a crucial mistake. He got baited into leashing by his jungler. It's a classic solo queue mistake. Don't fall for it, pretty much. And then he got dove as a result. So as soon as I saw him leash, I kind of knew that the game was pretty comfortable. We played a little bit sloppy mid-game, but it was fine anyway. So.
So you get the games in your hand. Were you worried at any point that they could flip the game and it would go back to you guys, or?
Yeah, playing against Jax is always like a little bit scary because if he ever gets ahead, he stays ahead, basically. So this is like a little bit on my mind. And they were still being proactive even after they fell behind, which, I mean, they have to do with Twisted Fate, to be fair. So we just had to be like disciplined mid-game and respect their turns, which we still messed up a little bit, like I said. So the game was never like completely won, but it was definitely in a good position.
A win is a win in the end, and I mean, it also talks for the improvements you get made since the LCS finals when you think about the matchup you had versus 100 Thieves. So talk me through what you've been working on since you arrived in Iceland to get ready for group stage today.
Honestly, we've just been focusing a lot on draft, I suppose, and like fixing like some things mid-game, which I think is still like you know, something we still need to get better at. But it's not like we were focusing too much on like one specific thing. A lot of it's just like figuring out the meta after so many patches changed. You're seeing first pick Yuumi, Lucian Nami's coming in the meta, Graves top. There's like tons of new things that we have to figure out, and we still are somewhat figuring out, like every team is. And then, yeah, it was just about, I guess, learning these and then, yeah, tidying up our mistakes after the finals.
It's a very diverse meta for sure so far at the World Championship. I think it was the first time also you played against the LEC since you left the region. Alphari, how was that one for you?
It was really fun. I was looking forward to it. Playing against LEC again, it's been a long time. And Mad Lions, after coming first in spring and summer, I thought they looked pretty good, but I thought that they also are good because teams disrespect their mid-jungle and they play really well on tempo. Like, they kind of do the same thing a lot of the times from what I've seen in their games. So I never thought they were, like, massive favorites, whereas teams, or maybe not teams, but, like, Twitter analysts rate us much lower than them, which I never really considered to be the thing. So I was excited to play against them. I thought we had pretty good odds, and I thought that they were exploitable, and it worked out.
It worked out.
Good.
Yeah, indeed, you've done your homework, and again, fantastic game from Team Liquid and yourself today. Alphari, thank you so much for the interview. Good luck on the rest of group stage. And that's all for us now. We'll be back in a couple minutes for Cloud9 versus Rogue, the last game of the day. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.